guys, my name is Leonie and welcome to another video. Today I'm gonna do a spoiler-free review for This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. And instead of just me talking to the camera, I thought it would be fun to show you a speed paint that I did of one of the two main characters while I give you my review. So This Savage Song is the first book in a new dystopian duology by V.E. Schwab, and it takes place in a city where after every act of violence or every crime, a monster is born, and these monsters rule the night of the city. And the story mainly focuses on two characters. First, we have Kate Harker, who's the character that I'm drawing here. She is a human girl, but she wants to be as ruthless and strong as her father. And on the other side, we follow August Flynn, who is a very dangerous monster that just wants to be human. There is so much more to the story that will all be explained in the book because it's very complex, so it did take me a while to get into it, like actually quite a while to get into it, because there's so much world building that needs to be done because the world is so complex. But during that world building nothing else really happens, so it takes a while before the plot gets going. I didn't really mind because I did enjoy reading about how everything works in this world. But once the world building was over, the plot really picks up, and from that point on I just couldn't stop reading. The strongest thing about this book is the two main characters, Kate Harker and August Flynn. Going into this book I kind of expected it to be like a very fast-paced, action-packed dystopian, just like all those other dystopians that I've read. But it turned out it's more of a character-driven story, and the plot kind of takes a backseat to the character development of our two main characters, which is totally fine, but I just didn't expect it when going into this book. So let's talk a little bit about the characters. They were both absolutely amazing. I've come to the conclusion that V.E. Schwab is just really good in writing books that are about the dynamics between two separate characters. Kate Harker is one of my new favorite characters of all time, which is the reason that I decided to make a drawing of her. I can totally understand that not everyone will like her as a character because she's definitely not likable, but I did find her incredibly interesting to read about, and she was insanely badass. And then on the other hand, we have August Flynn, who I feel like you can't help but love, because his inner conflict of being a very dangerous monster but just wanting to be human just made me feel so bad for him, and he was so precious. I just want to give him a very, very big hug. Both of the characters were so well fleshed out, and they both have their own inner monsters that they have to defeat as well. Just the internal conflict of these characters was heart-wrenching, and it almost made me cry several times, like tears were in my eyes. And also the dynamics between the two characters was so great because they were complete opposites. If you're a bit reluctant picking up this book because it's a dystopian and dystopians are so 2014, don't worry, this was a very unique dystopian. Especially, this book is not about two characters trying to overcome some kind of corrupt government. No, this is about two characters trying to overcome themselves. And I really think that that's what sets this book apart from all the other dystopian books out there. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the romance, because this is kind of a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but without the romance. To be honest, I was a little bit reluctant going into this book because I knew that there was not going to be a romance, and I do really like a good romance in a book. But after reading it, I really think that this book was better because there was no romance. It's not really a spoiler because I feel like you should know that there's no romance when going into this book, because if you think there's going to be a romance, I think that a lot of the conflict in this book, for example, you know, Kate being a human, August being a monster, is just gonna feel like ways to bring more angst to the romance and make it more forbidden. But because you know that there is no romance, all the conflict feels more genuine, at least to me, and you focus more on the individuals instead of just how angsty their romance would be. And I actually think that if this book did have a romance between Kate and August, it would have been very cheesy and a little bit cliche. So don't worry about the fact that there's no romance, because it totally worked for the story. And moreover, it was so great to read a strong friendship in a book, because not everything has to be a romance. I also absolutely loved the writing in this story because it's written by V. Schwab and it's no secret anymore that I love her writing style. And if you like good writing without overly complex, flowery metaphors, then V. Schwab's writing style is definitely for you. So overall, I had a lot of feelings about this book. I absolutely loved it. Even though this is a classic case of slow beginning, amazing ending, I still have to give it 5 stars because I just had so many feelings that I kind of forgot about that slow beginning. So if you've read this book, let me know down below what you thought of it, and I will see you soon in another video. Goodbye!
Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know